Super Mario 2 is such a weird ass game. Imagine being a kid back then and then you jump from Mario 1 to Mario 2. For me, it was one of those games I never really finished. Growing up, I never owned it, so it was one of those games that I was always playing at somebody else's house. I played it here and there, and when I did eventually own it, I never really gave it the attention it deserved. And honestly, looking back, I kinda dissed this game a lot. If I did sit down and start to play it, I would never get past the third level. It wasn't really a skill issue. I think it was more of a vibes issue. It just did not feel right to me. You're pulling things out of the ground, you're jumping on enemies, and they're not dying. There's this potion thing that creates doors, there's bosses to defeat, and then when you do beat the boss, you go through this falcon/eagle's mouth thing that always creeped me out for some reason. Proceed. When I sit down and think about 2D Mario games, this is not one that quickly comes to mind. Maybe because I don't have as much experience with this game as I do with the rest. But I want to change that and figure out why is this game so weird and why does it creep me out. So, join me as I take a look at Super Mario Bros. 2.
Super Mario is back. He's blasting through worlds where no one has ever been. He's taking on enemies no one else dares. This time Mario plops up power wherever he goes. So he's bigger and badder than ever before. You've never seen creatures like these. You've never had an adventure like this. It's everything you've dreamed of and worlds more. It's Super Mario 2, only from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
Released in 1988 for the SNES and the Famicom system and then ported many times over, Super Mario Bros. 2 was the international sequel to the mega hit Super Mario Bros. That, according to its own cover, promises Mario Madness. So I guess because I've always been impatient in my life, especially as a kid, I didn't even know that this game had a story. Apparently, Mario has a dream about a staircase that leads to a mysterious door. He then hears a voice calling out to him and asking him to help this world called Subcon, which I'm gonna take a wild guess and say is short for subconscious and not a convention about submarines. The voice asks Mario to defeat a frog named Wart, who Link's Awakening fans may recognize. He's been terrorizing the world and its people, so then Mario enlists the help of Luigi, Toad, and Peach, who apparently have all experienced the same exact dream, and our adventure begins. But as a child, you just completely ignore that and just press the button just so you can get as quickly as you can to the character screen. Not only because you want to pick a character, but because I want to hear this banger. You have Mario, Luigi, Peachy, and Chunky Toad to pick from. Each plays differently and has different abilities to the other. Mario is Captain Basic. He doesn't really have anything special that separates him from the rest. He's just your all-rounder that he's always been. Luigi jumps the highest and the farthest, but I find him to be very slippery and I don't like that in platforming. Toad is apparently stronger than the rest. He can pick things up quicker, something I didn't even notice, but gives the reason as to why he's built like a little powerlifter. And finally, we have our MVP, Peachy. She wasn't officially called Peach until the Advance remake. She was Princess Toadstool here, but I never really liked that name. That makes me think of Toad's shit. Peachy can float, which in my opinion makes her the best character because floating in platformers is the best ability, fight me. They can all do this super jump to reach higher places and they can all run fast and, do your typical Mario stuff. But movements feel extra slippery to me compared to other Mario games. Then they make it even worse by adding icy floors, so this slipperiness makes platforming tough sometimes, especially when you have to be super precise. One of the main reasons why I think this game feels weird to me is that it changed Mario's whole philosophy. In most Mario games, you jump on enemies' heads to murder them. Now, jumping on enemies really does nothing. You can ride enemies and pick them up to use them as weapons, which is the main form of attack in this game. Throwing shit. You pull fruits and veggies out of the ground and throw them at enemies as if you were in that one food fight from Hook. You also pull coins that get used as slot machines at the end of the levels, which I didn't think there was actually a skill to them, but apparently there is. You have to be really good with timing. My dumbass just pressed the buttons randomly, trying to figure out some kind of rhythm or timing, and sometimes I win and mostly I didn't. In the game, you will find your typical 1-ups, your mushrooms that will give you extra health. There's bombs, keys, and stopwatches that freeze enemies. There's POW blocks, shells. There's even this rocket that blasts you off that kind of startled me. Like, how the hell does this come out of the ground? This ain't no Pikmin. But most of Mario power-ups in the conventional sense are completely missing. There are no new ones introduced. There's no flower or a Tanuki suit here. But if you do pick up 5 cherries, a star does appear, so that's something, I guess. The thing that confused me the most as a child while playing this game was this magic potion. I just never quite understood it. You throw it and then a magical door appears, sending you, according to the Mario's 2 wiki, to the subspace, which is an alternate dimension within Subcon. But when and where to place the magic potion matters. This is a thing I didn't understand as a wee lad. Sometimes it's pretty obvious where to place it. There's a gap between the shrubs, and others take some experimenting and risks. Like for some reason I just decided to bring it over here and drop it, and decided to jump in a vase, which is super weird to me that it's vases instead of pipes. Anyway, I then managed to teleport and jump to level 4, skipping worlds 2 and 3 completely. So if you don't see them in this gameplay, that's the reason why, because I accidentally skipped them. Graphically, there is a different style to the game as well. The magical Nintendo charm I feel is missing. I could be totally wrong on this, but the Mario magic, I just don't feel like it's here. It's not a terrible thing. I think I do prefer how Mario looks here even compared to 3, except for when he's little. I don't like it when he's little. He looks like a little mascot with a big ass head. But most of the charm does come in the form of the music. There aren't a ton of songs. It's like the same 4 songs for all the worlds, but they're so iconic and classic you never get tired of them. Level design, it's actually pretty good. There's more to it than just hold the stick to the right and jump. You have to fly across the levels, find keys to open doors. Some levels even feature scrolling upwards, fitting that whole dream theme. There are little baby chicks, porcupines, ostriches, whales, cobras, and this stupid face that reminds me of that one Rubik's Cube game Joker. It actually looks nothing like him now that I'm looking at it, but that's what I think when I see it. This stupid thing just chases you around and is so annoying anytime you pick up a key. Now, whether you love or hate this game, you can't deny how impactful it is to the overall franchise, as the characters' powers I mentioned before would for the most part go on to stick with these characters even today. It even established Luigi as his own separate character. This game is also responsible for Mario's iconic look of red shirt, blue overalls, even if it is flipped in the cover. And as far as enemies go, even for how weird they feel like they don't belong in a Mario game, there are a ton of enemies that went on to become staples for the entire series, like the iconic Bob-omb, Ninja, Pokey, Sniffit, and Shy Guy. I mean, who doesn't love a good Shy Guy? Speaking of iconic characters, our boy Birdo is a mini-boss in this game. And yes, you heard me right, boy. According to the manual of the game, Birdo is a male who thinks he's a girl and prefers to be called Birdetta. While moving forward, Nintendo has intentionally avoided details on Birdo's gender, there's evidence to suggest that Birdo might be the first ever transgender character in a video game. And there's 3 different types of Birdos here in the game, and each color attacks you differently. But for all of them, you just have to find a way to hop on eggs or something else and throw them in their face. But still, the Birdo disrespect in this game is wild. Them getting their name wrong was really shocking to me at the end. They even got some other ones wrong too. Now, as for the bosses, these are actually pretty cool. These fights have a little bit more thought and design to them, even if it is just finding ways to throw shit at their face. But boss fights like this weren't even introduced in the Mario series outside of Bowser, who's completely missing in this game. So after you do manage to defeat King Wart, you release these little fairies called subcons. Yes, exactly like the world. And then it's revealed that it was all a dream! Or maybe Mario was just going through a sleep paralysis episode, we still don't know. But what we do know is why this game is so damn weird. That's because the true sequel of Super Mario Bros. 2, The Lost Levels, was released in Japan for the Famicom Disk System. It was designed by Miyamoto himself with the expert players of the first game in mind. So levels had what I like to call bullshit level design, where you're forcing players to take leaps of faith. Some levels featured wind, it would set you up for traps, and even have warp zones that would take you back to earlier levels. So when it came to bring this game to the US, the gringos in charge felt like it was too hard for our dumbasses. So they looked at a game that they had released years before in Japan called Yume Kōjō Doki Doki Panic, which translates to Dream Factory, Heart Pounding Panic, or Heartbeat Panic in English. This game was created in partnership between Nintendo and Fuji TV as a promotional tie-in for the Fuji TV festival. So the fact that it already featured a similar gameplay as Mario, and even featured Mario elements like the coins, the star, POW blocks, and even sound effects, reskinning this game with Mario characters seemed like a no-brainer. And here I was thinking Nintendo copying their homework was a brand new thing. I kid. It honestly makes sense, and it also shows why this game feels a tad off. I still don't consider it one of the best Mario games, but it's a fun one nonetheless, and one worth checking out if you still haven't, 40 plus years later. Its legend and history has grown so much since its release that The Lost Levels, which was supposed to be the true sequel, is viewed by fans and even Nintendo themselves more like a DLC expansion, and Super Mario Bros. 2 is recognized as the true sequel. But let me know what you think of Super Mario Bros. 2. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you know all of this already? I'm sure you did, but let me know your thoughts on it. Any and all Mario thoughts, let them fly down in the comments. Let's talk about it. And while you're down there, if you made it this far, help me out by dropping a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, you do you.